Welcome to this special episode. This is something that is going to be really exciting. We've got a collaboration today.
Yeah, we do. So we have the amazing Thousand Voices here. Introduce yourself for the people.
Thousand Voices, Business and Banter.
Let's do it.
Tevin, if you're an 1,000 Voices listener, you know who I am. If you're Business and Banter, maybe not. But yeah, Thousand Voices, we've been doing this for a couple of years now. Podcast, we're on a mission to interview 1,000 Black British change makers.
Love that.
And that's who we are. That's what we're about. We're trying to drive proper, tangible change in the UK.
All right.
Cool.
Hi.
Who's doing the intro?
I know, yeah.
How are we going to intro? I've never done a collab episode before.
Oh, really? You've just done the ones on your own?
Yeah, just on myself. You guys are the pros.
Listen, we're not pros. We're just trying to make it out here. We are trying. I'll introduce myself. My name's Tara. I am one half of Business and Banter. And of course, this is my amazing co-host,
Naomi.
Yeah. We have a podcast called Business and Banter, as you know. The aim of the podcast really is just to bring people knowledge based on the things
Sorry, can I just jump in? Are we introducing the audience though? Are we saying hello to the audience and not introducing the show first?
This is why you're good at the intros and thank you, jump in there. Get it.
So hello. Welcome to this special episode. This is something that is going to be really exciting. We've got a collaboration today.
Yeah, we do. So we have the amazing Thousand Voices here. Introduce yourself for the people.
Thousand Voices, Business and Banter.
Let's do it.
Tevin, if you're an 1,000 Voices listener, you know who I am. If you're Business and Banter, maybe not. But yeah, Thousand Voices, we've been doing this for a couple of years now. Podcast, we're on a mission to interview 1,000 Black British change makers.
Love that.
And that's who we are. That's what we're about. We're trying to drive proper, tangible change in the UK. And I feel like there's a lot of people out here doing a lot of good work whose work hasn't been amplified the way it should be amplified. So
100%.
That's what we're about and that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Happy to have you guys here. Man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us. We're happy to be here. It's nice, man. We've just been saying how much we always want to collaborate with people, and obviously the setup is amazing. So thank you.
Love what you guys are doing as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. You done a live show after your first season.
Oh
right?
my gosh, yeah, we did.
We did do a live show. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Naomi. I'm one half Business and Banter, and this is the other half.
My name is Tara.
And we did, at the end of last year, we did our first ever live show, which was really exciting. I didn't remember how much I actually enjoyed event planning, so it was actually really good to get back into, because we both worked in events separately before.
Yeah.
So yeah, the podcast live show was really good. If you haven't seen it, guys, go onto the Business and Banter YouTube channel. It is there for you to rewatch. So yeah.
How'd you go about doing that?
Do you know what? Tara has tell them a little bit about Network and Chill, and then I think that will explain how we got into doing the live podcast.
Okay, yeah. So I have a brand called Network and Chill. So I created the brand just to bring people that enjoy party vibes and just enjoyment, but mixing it in with business, how to kind of set up your own, So it's basically the slogan, so to speak, is we bring the vibes, we bring the knowledge, you bring the vibes. So it's kind of just a mixture of having a networking party, as well as having panelists that will, of course, explain about how they started their business and just the everyday person, because I feel like a lot of the reason why people didn't go to kind of events that were just solely based on business is because they found it boring. So I wanted to create that environment where we're going to have a vibe, we're going to have a little party afterwards, but then also come and learn something. There's a lot of people out there that want to start their own business or want to do something for themselves that don't know how to do it. So that was just the environment for people to do both. I have a lot of party friends. So it kind of got my friends that like to party into business as well. So yeah, so Network and Chill was where it started for me with events. And then, of course, myself and Naomi started Business and Banter. And I just remember the day Naomi called me and she was like, we should do an event. And I was like, you know what? That's a great idea.
I said, we should do a launch event, We've decided to do something. And I'm just like, we both do events. Let's do this so that people know that we're serious about it. So that's what it was for us, just to us investing in ourselves and in our brand just to show like this is what we're doing. Come and see it live in the flesh so that you can get hooked and continue watching the podcast.
Proper go-getters, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like, let's do it.
yeah.
Cool, let's do it.
Exactly,
Let's do it.
And literally, that's just how it happened. Like Naomi came with the idea, and I was just like, "Yep, this is great." And then I think within about 6 weeks, we had the event. It was really, really good. We got a lot of people that came and gave great feedback. So it's something that hopefully we'll be having another one in the works soon. So yes, it's going to be bigger as well. So
Nice.
can't wait for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So let's talk. Yeah.
Let's talk
So
about it.
like balancing podcasting side hustles
Yes.
with life
Oh,
and work and stuff. Like, how are you not doing it?
it's not easy.
What do you do outside of podcasting?
You can go first.
I mean, to be honest, yeah, with the podcasting, so for me personally, I'm a parent, so I have a young child, and obviously doing the podcast as well as kind of trying to work and balance the parent life. It was a difficult thing to start off, but then I think when me and Naomi had the idea, we knew that whatever we need to do to make it work, we'll make it work, and it has so far. In terms of starting the podcast, May last year. So it was last year, May, we started the podcast. We have had a whole season plus the live show, of course. And yeah, we started out by just talking about what we do and how we've kind of gone about life. Both myself and Naomi have kind of done a lot of different businesses, and we've had a lot of ideas, some of which we're still doing. And yeah, it was just basically giving people that insight to what we do, and then we just started collaborating as well with people. So we've done a few collaboration episodes which you can check out on our YouTube. So yeah, that's really kind of what we started off with. Any more to add?
So outside of the podcast, I work as an accountant and I trade, and I'm just a full-time lifer because
I like that, full-time lifer.
Life be keeping you busy, isn't it?
Yeah.
keeping me busy, man.
Listen.
So yeah, I, like Tara said, the podcast was something that we really wanted to do. So, well, I'm very much a person I don't think this just applies to me. This is just how I see people. If you really want to do something, you always find the time. So my thing is, I wanted to do the podcast. I decided I was going to do the podcast, so I was going to find the time. So for me, it was just more, okay, this is an extra thing that I have to make time for. What do I have to move around to make sure that I've got time for it? So I would like to think that I'm quite organised, so I'm able to slot things in and make it work and not affect other things too much.
You know, like, I hate what you're saying with finding time. You want to do something, you'll find time. And I agree in principle. It's not always easy though.
No,
it's not easy.
I'll tell you, like, with myself, so I work in sales full time.
Yeah.
And it's long hours. It's in finance. So, finance, you don't work short hours. They work you. They work. So we work long hours.
Yeah, I do the same as you. I work in sales as well, so I get it.
Yeah. I don't live in London. I grew up in London, but I live in Essex. Got married and moved out there, as you do.
Yeah, why not? Live the good life.
Yeah.
So the commute as well is kind of long. So I wake up early, I commute in. I'm in London most of the time, and then commute back. And then the time to do like the podcasting and stuff, that's the real passion, but it's limited and it's tough. It's only recently, because I've always been a guy that when I put my heart to something, I'll just do it. Yeah. And I'll work. I'm not scared of hard work. I'll put in the work. I'll put in the hours, and I'll be tired. It is what it is. But if my heart's on it, I'll put in the work. It's only recently though, like for the first time, literally in my life, I felt like I started to crack.
Yeah.
Where I was tired. I'm tired as hell.
It's real, you
I
know.
was coming from the studio. What happened? I don't know. Either there was an issue. I can't remember exactly. Maybe there was an issue or something. But for whatever reason, I was leaving late. And I was tired. Like, I was when I say super tired, not like I
Ready
feel
to
like
fall asleep on the train.
I could have easily just
Head all
stepped on
bobbing
the
and
train.
everything.
I was tired, man. And I called out on missus, and I was like, and then not even to say, just to complain, really. Just I called out, I was like, I'm tired. I think I missed my train as well. It was like, when it was like 0 degrees.
So much is going on. My train was heartbreaking.
A few minutes ago, it was like 0 degrees.
Oh, no.
So I'm out there, I missed the train, I'm standing there, I was cold, I was tired, I called, I was like, I'm tired, man. I'm tired. That was it.
Tell you I'm tired.
But I was mashed up, man.
Yeah.
And I get it, that's what I'm saying, I get it. Like, I can put in the work, but it's tough, man. When you're tired, you're tired. When you're juggling.
100%.
Yeah.
I
We've
think
had
I
them
make it
days.
sound easy when I say it, but it's not easy to make time. And I think we all know that. It takes commitment, and it takes like there's been times, for example, where I've missed my train. I've literally just been like, I don't want to do nothing anymore. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
like
done.
the day's finished. Yeah, I'm not doing anything.
I'm like, everything's finished. I don't want to work. Why do I have a job? Like, I'm literally over this
I'm
whole
done.
life. Like, what is this?
Yeah,
I'm over
trust
this
me.
whole thing. I have like genuinely, I have days where I'm just like, no, this ain't it. This really ain't it. It could take one thing to send me over. But I think it's just having that level of, like you said, maybe passion, or for me, I think it's just for me personally, it's just self-control of being like, okay, stop throwing your toys at the pram, babe. Pick them up. We still got stuff to do. So for me, like you said, on them days, like you said, go to your person, rant.
Yeah.
I'm someone I need to rant. Like I'm that guy because I need to get this out.
Yeah.
So
once you get this out, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm alright. I can proceed with my day, but that's like, I feel like you got to find your thing. Like some people, it's exercise. Like I've got friends like, if they're annoyed or they've had a bad day, like they will go gym. Whereas I'm the kind of person, if I've had a bad day, like I said, I don't want to do anything anymore, so I'm not going to gym. That's crazy. But just, if you find your thing that gets you through those rough times or those really hard times, I think that's what's important. Making sure you have that thing that will get you through if you are really passionate about something. But I also think that if you don't have the passion, sometimes you don't even have the drive to find the thing that keeps you going.
Yes.
And so you maintain stuck in a rut. And that's why I also think it's quite important that people do something that they're actually passionate about. Otherwise you will just stay in that rut.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately a lot of people do.
Yeah. Have your why. Have the reason why you're doing what you're doing. Like I think when me and Naomi first met, I think we told you already, but we met through network marketing. And I remember that was the one thing that they kept saying, like, you have to have a reason for why you want to make money. Like, it's great to make money. It's great to have money, but what are you going to do with it? Who's going to benefit if you have it? Like, what's the point of it? So for me personally, anyway, my why is my daughter. So everything I do, I'm like, if I can make a better life for her, yes, I'm going to be tired. And yes, I'm going to have those days where I don't want to do it. But if I do it, how much better is this going to be for her? A lot better than me not doing anything at all. So if you have that reason for why you're doing what you're doing, yes, you're going to have those bad days. But I also feel like I'm glad that me and Naomi started this together, because I don't feel like I could do a podcast on my own. Like I genuinely feel like maybe I'll be able to do it, but then I need someone there. I think me and Naomi kind of have two different ways of thinking. Sometimes I need her to tell me, listen, get it together. Like, yes, this is happening, but it's not impossible. Let's just do it. Like, find the time. We're going to do it. And I need that. And equally as much, I hope that I can do that as well, because I feel like I'm quite encouraging. Like, I'll be like, it's okay, it's gonna be fine, we're gonna get through it. Okay, I know you're tired, but it's fine. Just get the next train, all right? Do you know what I mean? So I'm glad that we started this together, because it was an idea that I think we both had individually, and then we randomly spoke about it. Like, we just said, oh yeah, I was like, I've always wanted to start a podcast. She was like, yeah, me too. And then Business and Banter was born. That was it, yeah. And it was just so nice to have someone that was passionate about the same thing as you, that wanted to get it done. And this is why having someone that understands the journey, we've both been on similar journeys in terms of business, in terms of knowing what it takes to get to where you want to be, which is why we understand hard work. Yeah, it's going to be hard, but then also we got to be smart about it. Work smart, not hard as well, isn't it? So yeah.
Yeah, that's my favourite slogan.
Work smart, not hard. Yeah, because we don't like hard work. Hard work is not for me.
Only so much time in a day, man.
Literally, honestly.
Only working hard the whole life.
Exactly. We don't want that. We don't want that. We still want to enjoy it. And this is why we're doing what we're doing, because we want to enjoy life. Me and Naomi do a lot of enjoyment. We do a lot of enjoyment. And I feel like having the podcast also gives us an opportunity to show what we do outside of the podcast as well. You know, we travel together, like we go to events together, obviously podcasts and everything. So we do a lot of things together outside of the podcast, but it fuels our kind of passion for the podcast, if that makes sense. So I guess
it's important though, to have something other than because you don't want it to turn into work.
Exactly.
It's a passion project, but you don't want it to turn into work, and it feels like an extra job on top of your job. Yeah. And you're talking about the why, both you spoke about the why, which is very important. And it reminds me of do you guys know Simon Sinek? He wrote this book called Start With Why, but he's got a TED Talk, but there's this line in his TED Talk, that's so good. So he talks about Martin Luther King, So when he done his speech, the I Have a Dream speech, and he talks about how he started with why, and that's why it was so powerful. So he spoke about why he's doing what he's doing, why he believes what he's doing, and that's why it was so powerful. And then the line that I like in that is that he didn't come and say, I have a plan, and then tell you your plans. I have a dream. He tells you his why, and people are like, yeah, I believe that, and they connect into it. But you've got to have like a reason and a why, like something that's really driving you to do what you do.
100%.
And on that, because like I think with that, it's for some people maybe it's come somewhat naturally, I suppose, or when they're younger or whatever. For other people, you might still be on the journey of trying to discover why. What is it inside of you? What is it that you want to do? Because not everybody has that. For myself, it's been a journey of self-discovery.
Yes.
A real journey of self-discovery.
Preach. I felt that.
From like when I was like from my whole life. Probably now I think about it, but like I think particularly when I was in college, because that's when I hit a rut. When I didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to be a doctor. I mean, my parents wanted me to be a doctor, whatever. And then that didn't happen. I done a work experience in a GP. And I said, yeah, this ain't for me. This ain't for me, man. And then I come out of that and I'm just like, shit, man, what am I going to do with my life? And I'm just, I feel like my world, I'm like 16, 17, but I feel like my world's crumbling in. What am I doing with myself? Time pressure. I need to do something. Do I need to apply for uni? I didn't know what I was doing. But it's only through like his experience. I read a couple books and I learned a couple things and I realized, okay, actually, I'm learning a bit about myself and starting to discover and learn about myself. And through doing that, then you sort of discover what your why is. And then that's what pushes you forward. 100%. But it's a journey though, you got to go on.
Yeah. It's a tough journey. But I think once you kind of, like you said, like self-discovery, that is it. Because we do a lot of like self-development between myself and Naomi. Like, we read books and we listen to things and we just know that anything worth having, you have to develop yourself. Like you're not the same person that you were when you were in college. You know what I mean? You've grown through experiences, through failing as well. And I think that's one thing that we wanted to make very transparent in the podcast is that we are still on a journey. We're still trying to make it to where we want to be. And this is basically documenting that journey as well as kind of giving the knowledge as well. So, having that self-development, it's going to be an ongoing process, I feel like, for a very long time, because at different stages of your life, you learn different things. Like when you're in college, you're kind of figuring out, what do I want to do when I get to my 20s? But then, like, I think for me as well, because I have a daughter, she's almost 13. So I've said to her already, I'm saying to her, listen, just do as many things as you want to do. Like, try everything until you find that thing that you actually wake up in the morning and say, I want to do this. I want to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. But don't expect to have it all figured out when you get to 16. When you finish school, if you don't have it figured out, it's fine. Let's experience life. Let's do things. You know what I mean? So I think self-discovery, self-development is so important in your journey to success. I definitely think Naomi would agree with that one.
I definitely agree. In my Instagram bio is self-mastery, because it's self-discovery for me and mastering yourself as well, in terms of we're all human beings, we all have emotions. We spoke about how we all have bad days. How do you overcome those bad days? So by mastering yourself, you have to master your emotions. You have to know how to control yourself and control your emotions. And people, it's not as easy as it sounds. No. Like, quite frankly, it's not. We all at some point have been controlled by our emotions rather than us controlling our emotions. When we always think that as human beings we are in control of what we do, we're not. There are so many times where someone will say, oh, they've seen black, or in like really serious cases, like there have been like incidents where people don't even recall like when they've done something really bad. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's really important as people that want to be successful that yes, we discover ourselves and also master ourselves so that we can get what we want out of life rather than taking what life gives us.
Yeah.
100%.
How do you manage your time?
I mean, I think for me personally, because my work schedule is quite routine, like I kind of know what days, well, in a month, hopefully I know what I'm going to do each day. I just try my best to find the time to prioritize what is more important, or what needs to come first. So obviously the parent side of me is always going to come first, because that is something that I have to do. But the older my daughter's getting, it's getting a lot easier. She's been there throughout my journey, like Naomi knows from the jump. She's been there throughout the journey. We started doing our network marketing in lockdown. I started just before lockdown. You started just around lockdown, isn't it?
Yeah, just before.
Yeah, so we started in that time. So I spent a lot of time in the house, of course. Like, my daughter watched what I was doing. At that point, I think I had a lot more. I was able to manage my time a lot more because I didn't have much to do. But now, progressing with like my actual career and also trying to be a parent, I think it's just important to prioritize what comes first. And I wouldn't say there's a balance, because sometimes something's going to overtake something maybe for a few months. You know, there's times that I've had to say to my daughter, listen, I'm going to be home late every single day this week. It's not because I don't want to spend time with you, but it's because I just need to get this done. And then once this is done, we're going to have all the time to do this and this. So it's just about making sure that certain things are a priority and getting it done, and not trying to do too much. Like, I always say to Naomi, whenever we're on the phone, I always say, I need to write this down, because if I don't write it down, I'm going to forget. So I always say, let me just write this down, because otherwise I'm going to forget. And then for me personally, I try and do 3 things in a day. If I can get those 3 things done, then at least I know, all right, that's done. Everything else is a bonus. I don't try and overdo too much, because I think sometimes we think we've got too much time when we don't. And we're thinking, I can do this, I can do that, I can get it done.
Yeah, same.
Next thing you know, you're like, to-do list full of 20 things that you haven't done. So I just focus on 3 things a day. So I kind of plan it: my morning, my afternoon, my evening. Let me get one thing done in the morning, one thing done in the afternoon, one thing done in the evening. I'm trying my best. I'm working on not over, like kind of taking on too much.
Yeah.
Because I tend to do that a lot. Like, I think I can do everything. Like, we think we're super women. Yeah. We think we're like superheroes.
To do that.
I can get that done. The time it's not
really
realistic. Let's be realistic.
You know what? Yeah, it's like, because I think with me, or with people in general, actually, like, I'll put together like the maddest to-do list. And then I think it's like, when you look at it, it's like paralysis even, because now it's too much. You don't even know where to start.
Analysis paralysis.
Yeah, you don't even know where to start. So instead you just go on, what's that on Netflix? I'm going to come back to that.
Stress.
Or like, but then I like that though. Got something I try to do. Like, I've got one like long ass to-do list. Just things I need to get done. But it was on my laptop, so on my notes section. I just put that aside and I open up another to-do list with things I need to do today. So I don't look at the big one, because when you look at that, it just...
No, do you know what? I look at I have a life to-do list in my notes in my phone. It's like, when I say it's long, because it's got some things in it that I know that I can't do right now if I even wanted to. But it's a really long list. But we both read a book called The One Thing. And The One Thing...
Oh, yeah, I got that one.
It literally says, what's the one thing that I can do right now that makes everything else easier or unnecessary? For me, I don't have for me, there's certain things that I have to do every day. I need to look at the charts and I need to trade, and so that I can be a trader, because that's what I want to be. I need to work because I need to eat, and I need to make money, and I need to eat because I like food. Those are the 3 things that I need to get done every day. Everything else is not necessary. Like, and on a serious note, that's how I live my life now. I had to stop doing I used to be like, these are the things that I want to do every day, especially when we was in network marketing. It's I need to do this, that, and that. And it's for me, like, I was getting it done, but it's like, it's that whole thing of it being overwhelming and it becomes stressful, and like, you're taking on too many things. And my thing is, my personality doesn't allow me to not get it done. So I am going to get it done. So then I'm just going to be not sleeping and I'm going to be tired, and then all of that kind of stuff. So now I strip everything back. If it's not necessary, I'm not doing it. Even in terms of like going out with friends and stuff. If I don't feel like it and I haven't booked it in, I'm not going. I used to be that person that used to be like, but I'm not going to lie, I used to be like a massive people pleaser, and I'd be like, no, I feel bad, I want to go.
You get that last minute call.
Come on, man. I'm not, don't even bother with my phone, I'm not coming.
I need it scheduled now.
I need it scheduled, or I'm probably not coming. Unless I'm like if summertime, don't get me wrong, it's a completely different story. I'm outside.
Sometimes we're out.
But winter, if it's not scheduled, I'm literally not doing it. And that includes work. Like, if someone at my workplace asks me to do something, like a request from someone, like, when do you need it done by? If it's not immediately, okay, yeah, that's fine. I will do that next week, and I'll get that to you by next week Friday.
Simple.
Yeah.
There's nothing is immediate. Everyone always says that they need something done urgently, but you have to just decide what's actually urgent and what's not.
Urgent?
Exactly.
Is it saving a life?
No,
If not,
no.
Then it
Listen,
can wait.
it's a waste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I think that's helped me reduce the amount of things I have to do, and then because of that, that's why I say I feel like I'm just quite organized, and I always feel like I have time. Like planning a podcast is easy for me because as far as I'm concerned, I don't have nothing to do in the evening apart from trade. Anything else that comes up is, do you know what I mean? But it's not a priority. The podcast is my priority. So if a podcast comes up like we need to do, it's going to take over whatever else I had.
With the podcast, there's extra stuff that goes into it though. So,
So the editing, the video, like all of that kind of stuff. So I've had to learn. I've had to learn how to edit stuff. It's not my area of expertise.
She's very good at it. Like if you watch our videos, she's very good at it. Like,
but it's like having to how do I put that time in? Because sometimes, especially when I first started, it would take me like 3 days to edit one video, like 1 hour. I don't know how to do it. It's taken me that long, but I've had to find the time. So like again, I've had to now switch up my day. I'm no longer trading in the afternoon. I've had to trade in the London session in the morning now because I need to work and make money in the afternoon, and then in the evening I need to spend all of my evening doing this video editing for this whole time. But again, what did I say? What are my 3 things that I need to do? Trade, work and eat. But then what am I going to eat if I'm working and doing all this video editing? So for like a couple of weeks I was bulk cooking, which I don't like to do because I like to eat different things every day these days. But I enjoy cooking as well, and I enjoy eating. So it's something I enjoy to do in the evening, but I had to not do that for a week because I had to bulk cook and make sure I could just literally heat up food and eat because I actually need to edit this video. And there's nobody else that's going to do it for me, so I just need to do it. It's just more of that thing of what is the priority. And again, even with work, it's like I don't know. Some people feel differently about their jobs, but my thing is, as long as my work is done and it's no longer working time, I'm not here for you. I've got other stuff to do.
Of course.
Of course. Don't call me after hours and start telling me to do things, please.
I've got actually other stuff to do, and I make it very clear to let my employers know like what's going on in my life and what my priorities are as well. I don't have children, and I find a lot of workplaces in general, actually I don't think it's a lot of workplaces, I just think people in general tend to think that if you have a child, then obviously, which is true, then that's really important, and so if anything happens with your child, then you should be able to leave your workplace. But I make it equally important with my employers that they know if something happens with my business, I'm going.
Yeah,
like 100%. I need you to understand that this is
that's
as
your
important
baby.
as a child
Literally.
to me. So like, yeah, I've had really good work relationships, some not so good actually, but with managers where I've been like, yeah, this is what I do outside of work, this is what's the priority for me. I can't stay late on certain days because I have to go to the studio. And then I've worked in places where I've had that conversation and they've been like, no. And then I've had to be like, okay, well, in my mind, okay, I'm going to have to figure out what I need to do next because this isn't going to work for me.
Yeah,
I like that. That's how good, because a lot of workplaces, they ain't going to be happy. A lot of workplaces, depending on where you're working, they don't even want you to be doing stuff outside of work.
Yeah, you have to be careful. Yeah, it's true.
You got to be careful, like, because they want your
Some people
life
even have
to
it
be
in your
work.
contract that you can't do
Work other places.
Not work other places, that you can't do certain activities outside of work.
So you got to get like written permission, that kind of thing, in order to do certain things. Like, technically I was supposed to do that with my podcast and we ended up doing it just because issues and stuff. But then I've never had that conversation where I've gone to tell someone like, if something happens with my business,
I'm going.
Listen,
I'm out.
I don't know if I have a job to come back to. Like,
Yeah, that's the thing. But I think it's a risk that you have to take as well. Like, I think for me and Naomi, we knew that when we started this podcast, there were going to be sacrifices with our jobs as well as our life. Like, even for me now, I'm quite, like, I've been in my job for a little while now where I can have that conversation with my, with my manager and say, listen, I got to be out at this time because I've got a recording. And again, we both live far from where we record, so we need to make the time to travel. Like, we might have issues, like there's been times that we haven't gotten there till late because we've got transport issues or whatever the case may be, but just being able to have that understanding with where we're at, it makes it easier for us, but then it also means that for me, in turn, I'm not trying to work my whole life in it. Like, I'm trying to do what I can do, but then I enjoy trading just like Naomi, but I want to make that something that is my income. Like, I don't want to have to go to work. So for me personally, like having a job where I can say, listen, I need to leave, I need to do this, I need to do that. I'm gonna hold on to that for now because I know that it's allowing me to do what it is that I want to do with the podcast. You know, even that, like what we said earlier, like we need to make like time for it on different days, like weekends. Do you know what I mean? I don't have to be out and about doing things. Like if I can wake up early and do a session and then at least have the rest of my weekend, the rest of my day, I feel good because at least I know I've got that done. Do you know what I mean? Like I enjoy doing the podcast a lot. Like I really do enjoy it. I enjoy the moments that we have and, you know, having the people there and everything. But yeah, it takes a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sacrifice with it, but
I mean,
yeah.
the podcast has been one of the most rewarding things I've done. Like,
Yeah.
I bloody love it, man. When you when you get them like interesting people on. We had someone on this morning when I was recording, and it was like one of the most amazing conversations we've had. Man, like sick, man. This is why we're doing it, and I love it. It's then something. It's like for me the struggle I've had is the balancing act between, because I don't want to lose that love for it. You know what I'm saying? And then, but when it's the work around, because people will see the podcast and you get a lot of praise for the podcast.
Yeah, but they don't
know
realize
what
how
goes
much
into it.
time went into that one episode.
Exactly.
That 1 hour episode, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't see you fixing cameras, lights, everything, making sure everything is
They ain't seen that. They don't see the research before. They don't see the post afterwards.
Yeah, and the work that goes in before and after, like
Yeah.
you say, like it's true, you know. Yeah.
So can I ask you a question? What made you want to do, obviously we wanted to do a podcast, but what made you want to do 100 voices in particular, 1,000 voices in particular as your podcast? Because I think the idea is, well, Tara obviously knows me very well, but you don't. But it's something that is, when I saw that, I was like,
yes,
wow, that's
Thank you.
sick.
Thank you.
Literally, that's sick. Yeah. And it was Bishmar, shout out to Bishmar, who told me about you.
Shout him up.
And he was like, I know, like, there's this guy, he's got this podcast and you'll love it. And when he showed me, I was like, you're right. I do. Like, this is insane. Like, what made you come up with the idea that you wanted to introduce 1,000 Black voices to the world to be heard?
Like, I can tell you the long story, I can tell you the short story, but like, where do I start? It's not something, first of all, what I tell people is that it's not something that I thought about started the next day. Far from it. I had the idea back in 2017.
Wow.
The first time I ever met my wife, and this she just the first time I ever met her, I didn't know who she was. I told her, I was like, yeah, I got this idea to do this thing, and I just never done it. For 5 years, I was sitting on it. I was procrastinating for so long and kept putting it off. I was like, you want to make sure you get all the equipment, and then you want to make sure that this, and then COVID come, and I was like, now we got. I just kept putting it off, and then I realized after some time it was a fear of failure. That's what it was, and I realized that because I read a book, and the book would just kind of breaking it down. You know them books, you read them, you're like,
what book was it? Share with us.
Yes, please.
I can't share it with you because I forgot the name. I forgot the name. I really need to remember it. It's on my Kindle. But the guy, I don't want to misquote it. I think I might have the name, but I might be off. It might be a book called The Range or something. But I might be completely off.
Send it to us when you know.
But the guy talks about where, like, because I was procrastinating, I'm trying to understand, why am I procrastinating? He talks about where it comes from and how it stems from a fear of failure.
Yeah.
I'd never thought about that before. And he even talks about where that stems from a childhood lens.
Yes.
So that's what I'm
deep.
like, it's like psychological. I'm like,
It is. It's all in here, you know.
He's talking to the child, to the little Tevin, like, that's where it's coming from. That's where it's coming. And when, like, there's power in realizing, because when I realized that,
100%.
I'm telling you, I think I read the book
what?
I read the book in December, and then the first episode came out in February. So after reading that, I just said, you know what, fuck it, let's get this thing done, let's do it. But there's so many things that like inspired it, like personal stories of friends, family. Like I don't know what you guys, your experience was like growing up, but it's like when you get like nonsense stuff and whatever. Where I grew up in East London, so it was like diverse and whatever. It was always cool. I never experienced anything like that. When I first went to college, I went to college in Essex. First week in Essex, I got called N-word twice.
Oh, wow.
Driving cars and shouting, all cowards.
Different environment, innit? Yeah.
Driving cars and shouting out their window, and then from there, and just things here and there, and then that's just that. And then there was like overt forms of racism, then you got some things where you're not 100, you know, like them the microaggression type comments, and you know, like you can't put a finger on it, or if you try and call it out, then they're gonna say
no, it wasn't me. I didn't mean to say it like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't meaning it like that.
You can look like so that's that. Then on top of that, I just think like the media isn't great. I think that there's certain narratives that are disproportionately told, so that they're like, it's some people's narrative, and I'm not I never judge a man, and I never whatever. Some people, through whatever, because life and society and the political landscape is set up in a certain way for certain people to fail, and that's just how it is. It's a political choice. And because of that, some people are living a certain life, but that particular narrative is told disproportionately, so everybody thinks everybody living like that. There's a lot of people that aren't living like that, and a lot of people doing good stuff, and that was it. So I was like, cool, 1,000, let's just get 1,000. I didn't think too much about the name, you know. I thought 100, and I thought 100 don't sound as good. Let's go with 1,000.
No,
cool. Let's do it.
Great shout.
that was it.
Yeah.
And that was it. Then, yeah, man. Like we've done 73. As of recording it, I don't know when this is going to come out actually, but we've done 73 episodes so far, and just about highlighting people who are doing good work across all sorts of different backgrounds. Like people like Bishma, or we've had community people, had entrepreneurs, creatives, like whatever. There's people coming and chat and they tell their stories, and that was it though. Just getting positive media out there. Too much nonsense out there.
So much,
100%.
honestly, there is so much, and it's hard as well. Like I think for the younger generation, like this is why we need so much more positive influence for them, because I feel like nowadays there's so much more out there for young people to do that allow them to be themselves. So allow them to be creative, or, you know, to just go into a field that maybe they didn't think they could get into, or leave. Even for us when we were younger, it might have been a bit harder to get into. But now I feel like there's a lot more opportunities for younger generations. So something like this, for them to listen to people that are actually, you know, doing something that they might enjoy, and they're thinking, right, they've done it. And I think that's even for us, like that's our aim as well with the podcast, like, and with the events, is for people to come and see we are just the ordinary two girls from South London that just decided to do something. Do you know what I mean? And if that's who we are, you can do it as well. Like, it's not impossible. I think for me personally, anything I do, I want to make sure that people know it's possible. I don't shy away from anything. I don't believe I can't do anything. I can do anything I want. Like, when I put my mind to something, I can do it. And I feel like that's really the narrative that I would love our podcast to kind of be about. Like, anything that you want, it doesn't matter what background you've come from. It doesn't matter what you've experienced in your childhood. It doesn't matter who believes in you, who doesn't believe in you. Forget all of that. That's just all, it's all a narrative. But you always have the ability to change your narrative. You have the ability to change what people see of you. But also, I think even when we had a conversation with Bishma on our podcast, and we we're talking about, you know, how he impacts young people. And I feel like the younger generation, as long as they are getting a lot more positive influence, they are going to be able to do better things, you know, and grow within their own kind of community and not worry about what someone's saying and what someone's doing. So it's just all about positive influence. And I feel like that's what you are doing with 1,000 Voices. Like, I think that's a really, it's so amazing to... You're only 73 episodes in, you said.
Yeah,
so you got a lot more to go.
And that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah.
I think more so for us, especially like Tara said. So in our first season, like we mentioned, it was just us two, and then we started to bring on guests where we do something similar, and we want to highlight people who are doing something good in their field, or have a business that they want to promote, or like Tara said, they're doing something that they want to show. This is how you can do it too. So I just think it's really, really exciting that you put a number on it.
Yeah.
Honest, I think it's really exciting that you put a number on it, because it means that I know just from meeting you today that you're going to get to at least 1,000.
Yeah.
It's not even
not more.
Exactly. Now it's not even 1,000 voices. It's more just voices.
Yeah.
Because it's like once you hit 1,000, you're going to keep going. But it's just like, I think it's so amazing that you put a number on it, because it means that you've got something to work towards.
Yeah.
Sometimes they say that if you don't have a they talk about goal setting, they say that you have to be specific, right? So you have to have something. If you could have just said, I want to talk to as many voices as possible.
Yeah.
But how do you quantify that? How do you know when you've got there? So I think it's really important that you put a number on it, and I think that's really exciting. Can't wait to see where the journey goes. But yeah, I think what you do is amazing. I think it is really important to impact on the younger generation as well. I don't know if you guys heard, but they're in China, TikTok is very different content-wise.
Educational
in terms of,
stuff on TikTok.
Yeah, like content-wise, what is
very,
available to
particular.
children and what is available to children in the rest of the world is so different. That's why I think it's our responsibility. They say it takes a village. It's our responsibility as people to make sure that the younger generation have things that they can look at and say, oh, actually, that's going to help me move forward, as opposed to like we have the culture that we're in at the moment. We know like 6-year-olds that know like all like words to songs that they probably shouldn't know.
Yeah.
Do you know, let's be real.
Yeah.
And we want to, so I think it's equally as important that we create spaces where they can actually learn things that are going to benefit them in the long run. But it's not just us putting it out, it's also other people making sure that they're actually using the content and sharing it. Because I think one of the most important things, like you said, it wasn't until you realised what was holding you back that you were able to move forward. And like I said earlier, a lot of the issues that people have is that they're not ready to face what's holding them back. They're not ready to really look at themselves and be like, oh, it may not even be something majorly traumatic. Some people have major traumas that have made them the way that they are today. And unless they can accept that, then they're not able to do that. Some people may have just had like a rough time in school. And I say that like not someone that got severely bullied. Like, everyone got bullied in secondary school, man. That was just the way the school went. But some people may have taken that and it may have really affected their self-esteem. They may have had low self-esteem. And they could be in a job today where they hate, but they feel like they don't have the confidence, they don't have the ability, they don't have the skills to move on to another job. But until they're able to look at themselves and be like, you know what, that's actually not true, and accept the truth of what is actually holding them back, then we're not able to move forward. So I think it's also important that we share that it is psychological, and we have to start looking inward before we can look outward to move forward.
100%.
Yeah. Not everybody goes through that journey. I guess not everybody realizes that you even have to go through it. Not everybody even realizes there's an issue. Some people just might think it like life is life, isn't it? Life be life in.
Yeah.
But it's that whole
just
thing of
go
like
through it.
taking control, innit? If you, like we said, that passion, if you are focused on that passion, then you automatically take control of your life to get to that passion. But if you don't have a passion and you're just out here, then life is life. Because what are you doing? Nothing. You're just swaying from here. One of the things I listen to every day, I'm going to talk about it again, Stranger's Secret. It talks about, I listen to the Stranger's Secret every day. It's a 35-minute audio by Elle Nightingale. And it literally, one of the things that it says, not by quote, but if you put a ship out into the ocean with no crew, no destination, what's going to happen to it? It's going to get shipwrecked. However, if you put out a crew on a ship, 99% of, and it's got a set destination, 99.9% of the time it's going to reach it. It's the same thing with a human being. If we're out here just living day to day, you're just going to live day to day and you're never really going to get anywhere. You're just part of the rat race. You're just part of the wheel. If you have a goal of what you're working towards, then you are likely to actually get to that goal because you're working towards it every day. You're making progress every day. So I think that's something that's quite important.
Reminds me of this book I read called Outwitting the Devil. So this guy, I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
It's so good, man. Like Napoleon Hill. So he wrote Think and Grow Rich, which is more popular.
We've read that.
And someone, I think I read Think and Grow Rich, and I met someone at a networking event. He was telling me, throw that book away. He was like, read Outwitting the Devil is better. I'm like, cool. And he sold it to me. Like, when I read it, I read it. Book is mad. And when you start talking, it reminded me of that, because in the book he talks about drifting, I think is what he calls it, and then setting into he has the concept of drifting and the concept of hypnotic rhythm, and then people who are not intentional about what they're doing will end up drifting, and then life takes them wherever life wants to take you. You're not going where you want to go, you're just going along with the flow, and then you get set into what he calls a hypnotic rhythm. So over time, you just sort of get set in stone, and then as you get older, you kind of just become who you are, and it becomes way more difficult to break out that rhythm. And it's so important to be intentional about what you're doing. So 100%. Have an idea, have a vision, have a goal, and work towards that. And I think it's so important to be able to do that. Not everybody does it, and I get it, because I think life is tough. Like, I get it, life is tough, man.
It is.
I think when we're young, a lot of people, you're young, and you know what children are like they're most beautiful souls ever, and they have imaginations, and I want to do this, I want to do that, blah, 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 this, that, and then you get older and life hits you.
Yeah.
And then you might face a couple knockbacks, and after a while, most people, if you keep it real, most people just knock back and end up just drifting through life. And
then
then
a few percentage of people that actually
and end up doing a random career that they don't love, that they didn't
But
ever
what
see
I
themselves
find
doing.
is that it's a lot of people in our community as well. It's always poorer people. It's normally black and ethnic minority people that you will just see in these like remedial lives. That's why I think I'm really passionate about making sure that we are aware of how we can move forward. Because I think it's amazing that there are so many people doing so many great things. But what I find as well is that there are loads of people that watch it and they're like, oh, that's good for them. I can't do that. Like they genuinely don't believe that they can. That whole thing that you were saying before about the belief. It's just we have to, I think, encourage our community to believe in themselves as well and see that anything is possible.
It's so hard to believe if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I've heard that so many times, but it's so real because I've experienced that myself. I'm telling you, like after college, when I was in college, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I felt like my life was crumbling in. But like, it's only I read Richard Branson's autobiography.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, this is mad. And obviously, he's a white man that grew up in the countryside,
Yeah.
so it's very different in that regard. But I'm seeing aspects in his personality in myself, and because I'm seeing things, I'm like, okay, if he can do it, so can I.
Yeah.
Only because I came across him. I didn't read that. I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And if you haven't, it's so difficult if you haven't seen. I've heard this so many times that. There's someone else. There's another woman I was talking to, and she's an engineer, a black woman, and she's never ever seen that. She didn't think she could ever do anything like that, but she heard a talk from another black woman who's an engineer, and that's how she started to believe. Oh wow, okay, I can do this. And she was in maybe I think uni or something like that, and then kind of done a bit of conversion, ended up going into engineering. But it's only because she saw someone else doing it that looked like her, sounded like her, and it became more real. And it's so difficult if you haven't seen it. It's so difficult to fathom certain things.
You got to see to believe. That's
you have
what they
to,
say.
But I feel like this is why I think being a parent as well, for me, is so important to show my daughter the journey of what I'm doing. Like she's seen me go through the struggle, she's seen me go through the hard times, but she's also seen the rewards of what I do. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's been really important in shaping who she is, because she's like almost a teenager now, but her mindset is very different to how someone else who maybe hasn't seen what she's seen. Like she's traveled a lot, like she's done a lot of different things, what I've made sure that she's done and seen, so that when she does grow up, she's not, taken aback and thinking, oh my gosh, like this is all new to me. Like I literally will sit her down and I'll be like, this is how I make money. Like, no joke. Like, she was trading with me in the lockdown. I taught her how to do things because I didn't think there was an age limit on how old she should be to learn how to do these things. It's something that, we're learning as adults, but who's to say you can't learn it as a child? I just wanted her to have a different type of mindset. And I think it all does come from your mindset. When you want to do anything, you have to have that mind of, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to try and manage my way through this journey and try and get to where I need to be. But starting from that, like even the way she talks and the things that she says, I can tell, like, yes, she's going to go through like the peer pressure and, all the things that you go through as a teenager, the things that you worry about. But I also know that she's going to come out of it a little bit stronger because I've taught her certain things. I've put things in place. I've made her read certain books that probably someone her age wouldn't really read, or she doesn't know what she doesn't know. Do you know what I mean? So just trying to show her that anything that you want to do is possible. Anything that you put your mind to, you can do. It might not be the smoothest journey and it might not go right the first time, but then if you just keep trying, don't let things knock you back, you will get there. Like, I don't believe in that whole thing of, if, you've been through trauma and stuff, you're going to pass it on to your kids and all of that kind of stuff. I have tried my very best to make sure she lives a life with no kind of lasting trauma. Obviously, we can't control what happens in life, but then it's about how you deal with it. So as long as you deal with it in a way that hopefully you're going to grow from it, rather than, like a lot of people will kind of keep it in and, suppress it. And then it's just like, oh my gosh, like we talk a lot in the house. I'm like, before bed, I'm like, sit down, tell me how your day. I don't even want to know how your day's been. How are you feeling? What's going on today? Have you had a good day? Have you had, like, and I think that's good to do with anyone, even me and Naomi. Like, we'll have conversations. I'll be like, are you okay? Whenever we talk about business, we always ask each other, are we okay first? That's what we do. It's just the check-ins, just the little things, because life is gonna do, like, life be lifing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But as long as you have, like we were saying earlier, like that support system, or that, you can say, all right, how are you? Are you okay? Right, let's get down to business. Do you know what I mean? Or, just have that conversation. Communication is so it's key whenever you want to do certain things. Like, you have to be able to communicate effectively, and it doesn't come easy for a lot of people. Do you know what I mean? So it's just making sure that, obviously, going down this road of entrepreneurship, going down this road of doing what it is that you want to do. If you don't want to work like a 9 to 5, or you don't want to work for someone for your life, you're going to have to go down that road of hard work and also effectively communicating. So I think that's a really important thing to kind of go with when you're going on this journey. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and you can give us some insight as you're married. How do you manage your time in terms of managing your marriage and the stuff that you do outside of work as well? Because you're busy, like with work, you're busy doing the podcast. You have to also make sure that you are the husband that you need to be. How do you manage it all?
Right. Good question. I did struggle with it before because I'm just tired. If I keep it, I'm tired.
It's a train on the
train. Falling asleep on the train. Tired.
Tired, like, working a lot and tired. And for me, because I feel like a lot of my best, or some of the, when I'm having a really good time, it's like when I'm not worried about work or whatever, when we're just chilling and just like eating or watching a movie or whatever, when there's nothing else in your mind, innit? And those are some of the times that I love, but we don't always get it all the time because it's busy, you know what I'm saying? Because we're trying to build as well, and I know the kind of life that I want for us, and we're trying to build. And I guess at this point in this building phase, it requires a level of, we got to sacrifice and put in time, but then you miss out on some certain things. We're both young. We want to, we want to travel. We want to do this. We want to enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? And it's tough, that balancing act. So, I mean, what we try and do now, so she's very much involved with what we do with Thousand Voices. So it's like, at least then we get to work on it together and build together, as opposed to it being just myself and then I'm working till whatever time and then I'll come down at whatever time, like, hi, whatever. At least then we're doing more stuff together. So for example, most times I'm here in the studio, she's with me, for example. When I'm at home, she'll be doing a lot of the editing work, for example, and I'll be doing, so I think through that, although it's not like dedicated time together, at least we're a bit more, you know what I'm saying, together. And then trying to be intentional as well, to spend some time. So what we do, before we never used to, but now more recent times, we like scheduling date nights once a month, and on top of that, then we'll try and have like intentional time with each other on the weekend. But there's always date night, and that one you can't move. So it don't matter how busy you are. It's literally in the calendar. We've got it in the calendar until next year.
I love that.
So it's in the calendar. There's been times we've both forgotten, and then it'll be like the day before. It'll be like, it's date night tomorrow. What are we doing? We got plans. We got to find something to eat, whatever. And then we'll get dressed up and go out to eat or whatever. But it's in the calendar, so it's there. So it's just happening. It just has to happen. And that's what we try and do. So it's a mixture of things, and it's not. I don't think it's perfect, but at least we try, and make sure that we're working together, and then we carve out some time outside of everything. You know what I'm saying, to do stuff with each other.
Yeah.
How did you two do it? Like,
hey, I don't know, because we enjoy life quite a lot. I mean, of course, like, schedule is everything, like Naomi said, there's certain things that I would just say, no, I'm not doing it, because my time just doesn't permit it. Like you said, I'm tired. Like, I am actually, like, I'm tired as in I want to sleep. I'm not tired that I just want to chill. Sometimes I just want to sleep. Like, even for me, because I work weekends sometimes as well. So it's just trying to schedule, like you said, and trying to manage that time and prioritize, because like I have, quite a big family in terms of, like, I got godchildren, I got, cousins, people that I do want to spend time with, but then also, and I think that's something I learned when I started doing the network marketing, sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice certain things, like whether it, the people around you, your loved ones, understand it or not, there is going to be some sacrifice. And especially, like, I don't know if this is something that you've experienced as well, but your closest people to you sometimes are going to be the ones that don't get it, that don't understand why you're doing what you're doing, or why I can't come to this birthday, but my birthday falls around the same time every year. Yeah, I get that, but this time I can't come because I've got another commitment. And it's not because I don't love you, it's because I need to do this for me. And I think that's one thing that I've been working on a lot lately, is making sure that I need to do things for me, because if I'm good in myself, I can be good for everybody else. But if I'm not, then it's difficult for me to actually be the best person I can be to you, the best friend, the best, sister, like mother, whatever the case may be. So I've sacrificed quite a few things in order for me to be where I'm at right now. Like just making sure that I schedule the time. Like my daughter, of course, is my main priority. So I schedule, you know, similar to how you have date night, we have our mother-daughter days once a month. So I'm like, listen, what do you want to do? Plan it for the next few months. This is what we're going to do. And we make sure we get it done. That's something that is non-negotiable. It's doing. I think you just need to have those non-negotiable things that you say you're going to do with your loved one. And then everything else, you can kind of just schedule around it, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's something similar to what you do.
Yeah, I think just making sure that you have that schedule and the non-negotiables. I think me and my boyfriend, we used to be fair, do like a set date night every month. But then something's just, I don't even know what would change that. Maybe it was something to do with network marketing.
Yeah.
I feel like
network marketing changed a lot of our lives. Yeah.
Just changed that.
It did.
We just never got back to it. But just making sure that, you have that time together where you can just chill. Like Tara said, that, there's some times where like I'm the opposite. I'm tired and I don't want to sleep. I just don't want to. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want my phone to ring. I'm not even gonna pick up my phone. I just want to be for a minute and just exist here without anybody else's presence. So I think it's important to also make time for myself and also so that I can make time for my loved ones. So I think my priority is always me time, because like you said, I can't be good to anyone unless I'm my best self. So I take a lot of me time. I'm not gonna lie. My me time is the thing that I make sure I schedule in first, and then everything else comes after. So I make sure that I have time with my friends and family and stuff. But I just think once it's in the calendar, it's happening.
Yeah.
If it's not in the calendar,
it's not happening.
Probably not going to happen.
Probably not.
Can't take them last minute requests anymore. On the day, call me up and be like, nah.
And I was young, I used to.
We're older now. Well, for me anyway, I'm older now. Like I was saying this to my younger brother the other day, and we was both crying. Because we grew up together, innit? He's only 2 years younger than me, and I have been raving since I was 13.
Yay.
I've been raving for years. Like, I don't care to go out on a weekend. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I could miss it.
Yeah.
I don't need to go out ever again, if I'm gonna be honest. But I just like loud music. But there are certain things that I'm not gonna do because I don't have the interest in it. But genuinely, if this was like, I don't know, 2014, and someone was like to me, if someone could call me at 9 p.m. and be like, oh, I'm going to this party, do you want to come out tonight? And I'll be like, come on, don't be stupid, I'm there, innit?
The priorities are different.
My priorities are different now. Like, like we mentioned, I have so much other stuff to do. I genuinely don't have time. I don't have time to do that. And like I said, I've already streamlined my list so I know what is the priority that's going to get me to where I want to be. You said that you know what you want your life to look like for yourself and your wife. Exactly. Like, we know what we want our life to look like now. So I know exactly what I need to do to make that happen. And if it's not that, I actually don't care. I'm not going to lie. Sorry.
That's good. Even since 13.
Yeah.
I started, I don't know how old I was, maybe a bit older, maybe like 15 or something.
Under 18 raves, man. I used to live in like near Wimbledon, and so it's near Kingston, and there was this club called The Works. Under 18s used to go. You could go there from 13 to 18, or 13 to 17 technically. So that's why I first used to rave.
When we was 15, because one of someone we knew, her dad owned this club, and then I don't know why he let us go.
Under 18s.
No, we weren't even under 18s. We were just like 15.
Yeah. You were just there. You were just there.
I don't know why he let us go. When I think back, we were way too young to be
there. Well, you were there.
Well, like now I ain't even got the energy right now.
I hear that.
I used to go out and all that stuff, and now because it's time and that, man. And I live far and
too
all
much.
that, the energy is kind of,
and it ruins your whole next day. Like me personally, I actually quite like sleep. So
if
I'm gonna go, and it's just like the priorities of the stuff that I want to do. I actually do want to do that other stuff. So I'd rather not go out, wake up in the morning, and do the stuff that I want to do. So that's how I make sure.
Can I ask you a question as well?
Yeah.
So I mean, I know you mentioned that you work in sales. Like, is that something that like you did because you were good at, or is it because you wanted to do it?
Not because I'm good at it. It's the first sales job I've had.
Oh, really?
So I sort of fell into it, if I keep it real. Like, I didn't want to get in sales. I fell into it. But I do like it, though. It was in the company I'm working in. I was working as an analyst, and then they were just a position to go into sales team. I was like, it paid more.
Yeah. That is it.
I said, all right.
Yeah,
I said,
might as well.
right.
I
I said,
hear
cool. I've been doing sales for 2 years now. So, but it's good though. I think it's a vital skill to have, like in this entrepreneurial world. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
always selling.
Agreed.
You're trying to get guests
Yeah.
on. You're having to sell.
Yes.
When you're trying to put on your events, you're having to sell your concept.
Yeah.
It's everything, man. Sell. So
Yeah.
it's been good. It's been good, man. Like I enjoy it, but it's not that I applied for it. I wanted to get into sell.
So what's the future for
yeah.
you then, and the future for 1,000 Voices?
Future, man? Future is like changing the world, man.
I hear that. Hear that.
So
Big.
that's what we're working towards. Like, I mean, for 1,000 Voices, we want to. The overarching goal of 1,000 Voices is to get rid of all of these racial inequalities in the UK. So like there's like the wealth gaps.
Yeah.
Black people, generally speaking, on average, earn less than other ethnic groups within the UK. Then like educational attainment, disproportionate sentencing, all that kind of stuff. We want to get rid of all that nonsense, basically. And that's what we're working towards with 1,000 Voices. And in the UK in particular, I was very specific about working with Black British people because I feel that there's a lot of emphasis on the US and other people. And don't get me wrong, of course, it's good, but here, with the UK, there's nuance. It's kind of different. We got what we're dealing with over here. I wanted it to be very targeted. So in the UK, that's what we're working towards. Personally, just same kind of thing, basically, man. Just like I don't know what form was here personally. I don't know. In the future, we'll see what the future brings. But I know what we're doing. 1,000 Voices, and it's all about driving change and changing the world, man.
Love that.
What about you lot? Business and banter.
You're saying probably not change the world as such, but then I feel like for me personally, it's just really just being able to share what it is that we're going through, the highs, the lows, everything, and have people relate to it. Like we always say on our podcast, like send us feedback, let us know. Are you doing something similar? Is there something that you kind of relate to with this? Because both myself and Naomi, like we've done a lot of things, like throughout our lives already. We've done a lot of things, and I feel like we're still young. We still got a lot more to give. But then I think the experiences that we've had and what we've gone through is shaping this experience as well, and it's allowing us to know, all right, yeah, everything's not going to go the right way. It might not go well at the beginning, but then eventually things are going to get better. And I think that's important because, like we were saying, like people don't realize how much hard work goes into these things, like into the podcast, into the live events, into the pre-planning, the weekly planning, the editing, all of that. There's so much work that goes into it, but it is rewarding at the end. Like I remember when we did our live event, and I think me and Naomi didn't really actually take the time to appreciate we've actually planned a live event. Like between the two of us, because it is just the two of us. We do have, shout out to Chloe, because we do have help from, our friends and people around us. But really and truly, it is just us. And for us to be able, we sat there and we were just like, we've actually done it. Like this, we felt it was a proud moment. But then I think because you're so in the hard work, like you're doing it, like you're trying to get everything done, trying to get everything sorted. You're not really enjoying the process. And I think that's an important thing, is to really enjoy the process. It's okay for things to not go the way you want them to go, but as long as you just keep going and keep pushing, it is going to work out for you. So with Business and Banter, like I think we've got a lot more collaborations coming up. We've got a lot more things that we want to do to interact with our audiences, like live events, like we've been speaking about, different things that we want to do just to kind of just bring people closer to us so that they know, all right, I can reach out to them. Like we always say to people, reach out to us. Like we've got a lot of knowledge about different things. Like we want to do little things, little challenges, just to kind of, get people engaged with us. So for us, really, it's just growing Business and Banter as a brand, of course. And then also just making sure that someone, I don't care if it's one person, 100 people, however many people, but just to impact people so that they feel like, oh, actually, I can do this. Like we had a really amazing guest on our show. I mean, everyone's been amazing, but we had one particular guest that reached out to us. She came to us because she, and at that time we were thinking, how's she reaching out to us? We ain't even done anything. Do you know what I mean? You're thinking to yourself, like, we ain't really done that much. So how did she reach out to us? But she came on the show, and it's because she looked at our content, she'd watched our videos, and she was just like, I really want to come on and share my experiences. Sometimes you don't think you're qualified because you're thinking, well, I ain't really got that many people following, or I ain't got this, I ain't got that. But then there's actually people that watch your podcast and watch your videos or listen to your audios, and they actually relate to it. So for you to actually then come and reach out to us, you know, for me, that's the most rewarding thing. Like, it's not really about anything else. It's just about the people that we can impact so that they then change their lives. So if we've been able to change one person's, hopefully we'll be able to eventually change 10, 100, 1,000. Do you know what I mean? It's all a numbers game kind of thing, isn't it? But it's just the impact that we can give. If we can give the positive influence to people and they're able to reach their own goals, or even at least start taking steps towards those goals, that's what I would love for Business and Banter to do for, you know, for our audience and the people that are watching.
And for me, more so, it's create the community, because I feel like everything that you just mentioned, none of it happens unless without support.
Yes.
Like, there's loads of stuff like you said that you saw something in a book and it made you, like Richard Branson's book, and it made you think, oh, I can do that. I know for a fact that I've read stuff and it's made me think that I can do that. But like I said, there are loads of people that they read stuff and they're like, oh, wow, that sounds amazing, but I wouldn't be able to do that. And for me, it's really about creating that community that's going to help those people and support those people to realise that actually you can. It's just about changing your mindset and changing how you look at the world and the things about you, around you. So that's what it is for me as well, just actually building a community where people can lean on each other, because being in network marketing, that was one of the things that I saw in that environment, which I've never seen in any other.
Ever.
And I would like to recreate that, but not focused on selling something, just focused on helping people get to where they want to be.
Perfect.
Yeah, I love that actually, what you said, like just creating a community. Like Naomi said, when we did network marketing, we were like a huge family. Like it was insane. I've never been in anything like that. And I know there's always been like kind of a stigma around network marketing, and you know,
some of you may know it as a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, some people don't know it as a pyramid
but
scheme.
it's actually called network marketing.
But actually, and the thing is, if you do it in the right way with genuine intention, it can get you to where you want to be. It depends on, obviously, you know, what it is that you're doing, the brand of business. But for me and Naomi, we've actually been able to learn and develop a skill that is going to pay us for life. Do you know what I mean?
It's less that. It's more so, like you said, it was more, yeah, we learned that skill, but that wasn't being part of the community. Being part of the community is how me and Tara became friends.
There you go.
Being part of the community is how certain people were able to call on someone in the middle of the night and be like, oh my gosh, I need help. Do you have a plumber? Like, it was a place where, personally, I've never seen over 2,000 Black people, mostly based in the UK, that would call on each other for the most randomest of things, that would meet up in the morning. We'd go on Zoom calls and we'll have like a half an hour check-in where somebody would give some positive words of affirmation, and then we may talk about what we've got planned for the day, and then everyone will go off. I've never been in an environment personally where people have been able to get together and really push on the positive things. So I think it's, for me, really important to bring the community aspect out of it and help people see that it takes a village. It takes a village to raise a child, but we're all children. Let's be real. We're actually all still children, because I'm a big woman and I still feel like a child. Yeah. It takes a village for us to get where we want to be, whether it's literally reading it in a book, whether it's talking to someone on the phone, whether it's watching a video and seeing, oh, wow, I can actually do that. But it's making sure that we have those resources and that they are available, because like you said, there's also a lot of disproportionate information available. A lot of Black people don't even realise what's available to them because they've never had the access to it. So it's just about, for me, creating that community where we share our resources and pool our resources so that we have a greater understanding of what's available. And so we have more of a way to push forward, or we have more likelihood of making it to where we want to be.
Yeah, we don't want to be gatekeepers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're not trying to be gatekeepers, because I think there's too much gatekeeping out here, in especially in our community as well, which is a shame. Like, if I have information that I can share and it's going to help someone else, why not? You know, like, I don't see why I should keep that to myself. Like, and that's the issue. Sometimes people don't want to share the information that can actually change someone else's life. And for us with Business and Banter, this is what we're doing. We're putting information out there to help you change your life. Whether you want to take it or not is up to you. But then I don't feel like it should be, you know, yes, I'm not saying that people shouldn't get paid for what it is that they know. But also at the same time, I think there's a lot of free information and free knowledge and, you know, things that we can give people that will impact and help them. Yeah. Like, we're not trying to be here to say, oh, you know, like you have to do X, Y, and Z to get where you need to be. No, this is the journey that we've gone on. This is our experiences. This is where we failed. This is where we failed again. Yeah. But this is where we picked ourselves back up as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, we're not afraid to say that we have not, we've been through things that have not obviously gone well. We're not afraid to do that. But what we want to do is we want to show how that has helped us to shape, the positive things that have happened. So I would never want to be kind of a gatekeeper of information that can help people. But then also at the same time, people need to appreciate there's information that's given to you for free. Use that, take it, run with it. There's so much free knowledge out there that people don't use, maybe because they don't know where to get it. And that's really for us, like the platform, Business and Banter can be that platform where you can get that free information, where you can come and build a community with us, come talk to us, let's learn off each other, because some of the guests that we've had, including people like yourself, like we're learning as well. Like this is not just all about what we've done and how we've, kind of gone about life. We're learning from others as well. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Bishma, do you know what I mean? Like there's things that we wouldn't be doing if it wasn't for other people. Yeah. Like we said, like I don't think you can get anywhere on your own. And sometimes that's how we think. We think, oh, I don't need help. I don't need this. I don't need that. Yeah, you do. You ain't gonna get anywhere on your own. Like you can't do anything by yourself. I feel like if you think you can do it by yourself, you will only get to a certain level. But then if you start collaborating or, just having conversations with different types of people, like it doesn't even just have to be people in your field. It can be people that are doing anything. Like we've learned so much from people that are doing completely different things from us, but then it's just that impact, you know what I mean? It's just that, growing, that building. So yeah, like for me, I think that's the one thing in this community that we do too much is just hold on to information. Now I'm out here to tell you, listen, if you want to know how I made £10, I'll tell you how I made £10. If you want to know how I made £100, I'll tell you that. If you want to know how I got to where I am, or do you know what I mean? Just little things. But do something with it.
Yeah.
Like, don't take the information and don't do anything. Do something with the information. Use it to better yourself, better your life. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah I think that's the aim really with Business and Banter for me as well.
It's great, man. And like you said, the collaboration is very important.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us, there's some stat, I've even forgotten the stat, I've heard it a long time ago, but it's about like black founders in the UK. How many black founders are solo versus other ethnic groups? And basically black founders very disproportionately tend to start things by themselves. Yeah. And then from that, you can also like infer that there probably isn't as much knowledge sharing, maybe it isn't as much collaboration and stuff. Collaboration is key. And that's something I wanted to do a lot more of this year with 1,000 Voices, because I think we've done a lot of stuff by ourselves, which is cool. But like you're saying, there's only so much you can do by yourself.
100%.
Collaborate, you'll go 10 times faster.
That's it.
10 times faster,
That's
man.
it.
So to collaborate with other people, there's a lot of people out here doing a lot of stuff and
Yeah.
they have similar goals,
Yeah.
similar things that we're working towards. Just come together. Let's pull, man.
That's
Let's
it.
pull, let's come together. Let's share knowledge. Let's create together. Let's do what we got to do together and build together. Like, you know what I'm saying?
it.
And yeah, I want to do a lot more of that. And I think we
100%.
should, as a community, as a people, just do a lot more of that,
do it, man.
and build together.
You listen to a lot of like I watch like kind of podcasts or listen to a lot of audios of black entrepreneurs, maybe not so much in the UK, but even just outside of the UK. But when you hear their stories of how they first started, it's always maybe situations like this. One day I went on a podcast and then from there now we're business partners, and do you know what I mean? It's always stories like that, because I feel like things take off when it's unexpected. Like you don't expect to meet certain people in your life. Like I didn't think that I would meet Naomi and then we would end up starting a business together. When I met Naomi, it was purely because we were doing the network marketing together. Yeah, we had similar goals and things like that. But if we didn't meet in that environment, we wouldn't realize how similar our goals were. And then we wouldn't eventually, end up collaborating. And again, that's the same with Business and Banter. We speak to people and we're like, oh my gosh, we didn't realize how similar, like, your goals and what we want to do. Like, so I just feel like if you are meeting people out there, like, and you're collaborating with them, it's only going to grow your business. It's only going to grow your community. And it always just starts like, it's the same as like, they say like a seed. It starts with a seed and then you water it, it grows. Yeah. It eventually becomes a flower. It becomes, you start to have people, like you said, like you can call on, like that you can say, listen, Naomi, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. Or can you help me with this? Or do you know anyone that does this? The portfolio of people of the network that you would have is then going to help you to grow your business. It's then going to help you to develop yourself personally. So I just think if you're sitting there and doing something on your own and you're struggling, there might be someone that you don't even realize that is very close to you that could actually help you to do what it is that you want to do. You said it the other day. use your friends.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. We got friends that can do things, but sometimes you might not want to ask your friends because you're thinking, oh, like, I don't know if I want to ask them, or, you know, or that's my friend. I've never really asked them for that kind of, you know, that to do that for me. We've got friends that do finance, marketing, you know, even when it comes to creative things like housing, all sorts. Why are we not asking them? Why are we not building together? You know, if we're friends, we should want to see each other win. We should want to see each other grow. Like, we should want to be able to make money together. We're going to travel. Where's that money coming from? Let's make some money together. Do you know what I mean? Let's get rich together so that we can do things together, and then we're all utilizing our skills as well. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I think if you've got friends, you've got people around, like, we shouldn't only just look to, you know, someone that's outside of that kind of our friendship circle or family or whatever. There's people around that are closer than we know that we can actually, you know, learn from. So I think it's always a good idea to start looking within as well. Like, even if it's that distant uncle that you don't really talk to, but you know, my uncle does, I don't know, he used to be a DJ back in the day. Let's talk to him. So yeah, it's just about, I think, building contacts, creating that relationship, having good relationships with people is always going to be beneficial in your business. So yeah.
100%. 100%. Good stuff.
Definitely.
All right.
It's been
So
insightful.
that was that. We've covered a lot of stuff.
We have.
That was an episode. It's been good.
It's been enjoyable.
Can I ask, Tevin, seeing as our initial episode, I mean, our initial conversation was about how we're managing our podcast alongside our jobs. Is there any advice that you would have given yourself before starting the podcast that you know now? Like, is there anything that you know now that you wish you had known before you started your podcast?
Probably the one thing I probably would have said is to be consistent and don't expect immediate results.
Delayed gratitude.
Probably would
Delayed
be the main
gratification.
thing. 'Cause
Love that.
I thought
that.
I thought after 5 episodes it'll be clear.
God, clear.
Like, what's happening?
That'll be the main thing, I think. Like, yeah, have a plan and be consistent with it. Yeah. What about
How
yourselves?
about you, Tara?
Oh gosh. I would say I'll just say have a positive attitude. Like, having a positive attitude towards what it is that you're doing. Like you said, kind of just don't expect it to always go the way you want it to go, and that's okay. It's not okay if you're being lazy about it, yeah. But then it's okay if you are doing your best and you're trying day in, day out, the results will come. Like, they will come. But you, like you said, I think really and truly consistency is the key thing. Being consistent, being positive about it, and then just building your skill, building your clientele. Like, just, yeah, I think just really just basically just building on your craft, building on what it is that you're doing. If something's not working, figure out why that's not working, do something that does work. So, yeah. What about you?
I think for me, it's maintaining the willingness to learn. I think when I started podcasting, I didn't have high expectations. It was a conversation that we had, and I was like, we're not going to have good views. Like, I don't think you understand what we're doing here. And I'm like, no, yes, we are. Like, I always say to Tara, like, she's optimistic, and I'm optimistic because I know what I want out of life, but I'm also realistic.
Yeah.
So I had I think, realistic expectations in terms of what the podcast would be like. However, I didn't have realistic expectations on what it would take in terms of video editing, in terms of creating reels, in terms of learning how to use different software, in terms of doing all of this behind the scenes stuff that I didn't know you had to do in a podcast. So it was just like maintaining that willingness to learn, to be able to pick up those skills to implement. And I wish I'd known that before, because I would have set aside a bit more time.
100%. 100%.
Been good, man.
Yeah. Thank you for
so
having
much.
us.
Yeah,
It's been
thank you
great,
so much.
man.
Thank
It's
you.
been
To see
amazing.
Thank you.
more episodes. I'm excited for you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having us, man.
Thank
We
you. Thanks for
appreciate
coming
it.
down, people, as well, man. Appreciate you too as well.
I hope that this is the first of many collabs with us, because
Yes.
I really enjoyed this, and I think that we can do some great work together.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Cool. How
Thank
do you
you.
guys outro your episodes?
Like, subscribe, follow.
You know where to find
where to find us.
It's Business X Banter everywhere.
Yeah.
Nice and
Business
easy.
and banter everywhere.
Cool.
Yeah.
Business of Banter, 1000 Voices. We're out.
We out.
Bye, guys.